Activision, one of the biggest companies now in gaming because of one money-grabbing little franchise called Call of Duty. But before Call of Duty, there was another franchise of games, which Activision was releasing at the time, and that was Spider-Man. The first Spider-Man games were actually released in 2000, I think. That was the first Spider-Man game that was actually released by Activision that I know of. But the Spider-Man games only became better after Treyarch started developing them. And those were the movie tie-in games for Sam Raimi's movie. And of course, the best one of them was Spider-Man 2 for the PS2, which was actually hailed as the best superhero game up until Arkham City came along. Or Arkham Asylum, based on what you like. Treyarch actually made another really good Spider-Man game besides Spider-Man 2. That was Ultimate Spider-Man, and I played the shit out of that game when I was a kid. Because I didn't own any console whatsoever, and that includes the PS2, I couldn't play Spider-Man 2, and that's why I played Ultimate Spider-Man instead. But actually, the first Spider-Man game that I played on the PC, because that's the only gaming platform I had, was this one, Spider-Man 3. It's actually, they say that this game is actually the bad cousin of Spider-Man 2, because it actually is Spider-Man 2, just with a different plot and all that. The port was actually handled by the developers of Amazing Spider-Man and Amazing Spider-Man 2 that were released recently, and that was Beanox. See? There, right there. Right there. This little logo. They made the port. And, well, it was an okay game. I really enjoyed it. But the actual games that we're gonna talk about are those Beanox developed games, not the Treyarch ones, which were actually pretty good. Because Hollywood didn't produce any more Spider-Man movies after Spider-Man 3, Activision needed to make money off the franchise somehow, so they got Beanox, who developed a bunch of shitty movie licensed games, to develop a new Spider-Man game. They developed Shared Dimensions and Edge of Time, which were okay, but they were not as good as their predecessors. So, they had a brainstorm and started developing an open-world Spider-Man game. And that game was Amazing Spider-Man. A lot of gamers were expecting the next Spider-Man 2, but the game was extremely mediocre and didn't actually live up to the expectations of the gamers. So, yeah, it was completely forgotten. Up until Amazing Spider-Man 2, which actually promised to bring back the old feeling of Spider-Man 2. But, of course, it had to fail. I must admit, the swing mechanic is improved, because, well, the webs stick to the walls of the buildings. And it's pretty fun to swing around. But, yeah, it's pretty fun. And it also combines the old mechanics like you know, the web rush. But the actual problems begin with this little thing, and that's the crime fighting. The crime fighting is, well, let's just say a fail. It's a big fail. Instead of the way Arkham City and Arkham Origins handled crime fighting, where the crimes were actually happening within the city in real time, in Amazing Spider-Man 2, they're just an instance, and you swing around the city in order to get to that instance, which is its own separate thing. And it makes the game seem like it's from, I don't know, 2003 and not 2014. It's just surpassed, and it makes me want to play Arkham City or Arkham Origins again, because it's more immersive. I don't know, this game is, it's not shitty, it's just really disappointing. But despite that, I thought that crime fighting would actually be pretty fun, but it boils down to just button mashing, and really, it's not really a big challenge at all. The combat actually resembles Arkham City. It tries to clone it, but it clones it in such a way that, yeah, it's just simple button mashing. There is no combos or whatever. Just hit him again, then evade, hit him again, counter, hit him again. And yeah, it's pretty repetitive. And yeah, I could look past that if the combat was actually a bit challenging, but it isn't. I'm playing on normal right now, and I'm not even getting hit. I'm only getting hit by bullets. Actually, I think I got hit like 2 times, but that's when my concentration actually drops. Because, yeah, it's really boring after some time.
It's not good.
And yeah, it's not good. This game really lacks that combat variety and challenge that Arkham City has, even though it tries to copy it. And after every instance, you just get, you know, news report that gets annoying after some time, after hearing the same thing over and over again.
Wild West-style gun battle on the streets of New York.
The crime fighting actually becomes boring after some time. So I'm about to fail this event because I cannot find this one person. And all of them share the same life bar, so yeah, it's a fucking timer.
Gets left out when I use the seismic blast.
I can't find it. I don't see it anywhere. And yeah, I'm doing my job, and the firemen are just standing in front of a building, looking at me doing my job and not doing anything. But they get, you know, hailed for being heroes and not me, for saving 3 civilians and them saving just 1.
In a fire, if you open the wrong door, you're making it 10 times worse. Firefighters study all this. Do they teach it at SpiderMan school? Trick question! There's no such thing!
Yeah, J. Jonah Jameson is a dick, and yeah, I failed the event for trying to help, but the fireman did nothing. And yeah, the Hero and Menace system is completely, you know, meaningless. Sometimes you get Menace points, sometimes you don't. Most of the time that you get Menace points, and that is when you miss an event or a crime. So, yeah, they punish your incompetence, or that is your lack of omnipotence. Because you cannot be at all the places at the same time, you know? Sometimes 2 events happen at the same time, you have to do them both. But then you fail one and you succeed one. And you fail the one because you didn't go there. It's really punishment for not being God. The game also has its share of glitches and bugs. And this is one that I came across. It's a sound glitch, just listen.
I almost died just then. Of boredom.
The gunfire is still there. It would be good if that was the end, but it's not. I'm currently doing a stealth mission. And I'm trying to get to that yellow thing down there. See it? Yeah, it's good. So, I'm trying to take down this guy. But instead of taking him down, I accidentally press Q and pull his weapon out. And now I'm gonna fail the event.
Alright, you're not good.
Of course.
Dangerous thing.
And then I'll have to restart and replay all over again. The upgrade system is, well, practically empty. It doesn't have anything. It just has, I don't know, 4 or 5 stuff and 4 levels for that stuff. It basically makes it, you know, not worth it. You just buy those upgrades and the game is just the same. If you remove that from the game would be, yeah, the same. So the upgrades, they're... And as an added bonus, the game is a bad PC port. It runs horribly on any machine. You can ask TotalBisquit. I'll put a link down in the description of his review of this game. Well, this game is just a big copy of Arkham City, except with a Spider-Man title on it. You can see the similarities like in the Spider sense, you know? When you press T on the keyboard on the PC version, or whatever the key is on the consoles. You enter this Spider Sense mode, which is actually the same as Detective mode in Arkham City. There is no difference. You can see your enemies through the walls and stuff, just like in Batman. And yeah, even TotalBisquit called this game a discount Arkham City. But the problem is, Arkham City costs less. In my opinion, play Arkham City. Or if you want a good Spider-Man game, play Spider-Man 2 on the PlayStation 2. But if you don't have that, then I'll recommend Ultimate Spider-Man. It's a really good game. And overall, this game is a bit fun, but it tries to be something that isn't. It tries to copy Arkham City in some ways, but it fails in every way it tries. And that's why my final rating is a 5 out of 10. And it's a mediocre game. It's the maximum it gets. In my opinion, wait for the price to drop, or the problems and performance issues to get resolved by a patch. Until then, I'll see you next time.